So guys, it's 200 days to go, take two, against the Paralympics, and so hopefully like we're all still together and still training, fingers crossed for that to happen. Let's go, Stu. How did you feel back in last year when the Paralympics was cancelled for a year?
Well, I was a little bit relieved, to be honest, because I thought it would give me some catch-up time. But it dawned on me that it wasn't just a short-term bit. So I found it quite difficult, as in what I thought I had a lot of time, I didn't really have a lot of time. It was very strange.
Yeah.
How about you, Shah?
I don't know. It was weird, wasn't it? So I think we just at the start of lockdown when they announced it, and I don't know. I think I definitely took a few weeks where I just I lost my motivation. I'm not scared to admit that, because I think when you've been involved in it for such a long time, like a year feels like an age, doesn't it? So I don't know if anyone else felt that. I felt like we kind of lost what we were training for, and it was so uncertain because they didn't give us the dates, did they, straight away? So they just said it's being postponed, and then we were like, well, till when? And then so I find it really difficult. Definitely had a glass of wine on the day that it was.
I've got a geeky fact. We were 162 days to go on the day that they postponed it. So it kind of went from 162 days to 520 something.
Oh, I think I'd repress that out of my mind.
Yeah,
but
that kind of blows your mind to think that.
Yeah.
I think I'm like you, Charlotte. I was thinking, oh God, now we've got to go through another winter.
Well, I remember, was it last year we were all like, we're not going to have to do the cold next year. We're going to be out having cocktails in a sunny place. And then everyone was like, oh, okay, back to winter training then in the snow. And yeah.
I think it was the right call. Obviously, I think we all agree it was the right call. But yeah, I think it was challenging, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think for me, I don't know if you guys agree, it was that up and down. It's like first couple of weeks, same as Shah, like, right, let's crack open the wine, and your motivation just took a huge dip, and then like once the kind of, as you say, then it was quite soon, it was only a couple of weeks afterwards that they kind of put some new dates out, and it gave us a new goal, that then there was a new, as you said, Stu, there was an opportunity of time to really hone in, but then when it came around to the year to go, that sun, it then dropped again. It was like, oh yeah, here we go again. So it was a bit of an up and down, I think, for everyone. So
kind of in those moments, how important, and also afterwards when we were all at home for, was it 15 weeks or something, how important do you think the staff team have been? So like our team behind the team, so the physios, the coaches, the psychs, like how important have they been to us during that kind of lockdown period, and also still now? Rob, what do you reckon?
Charlie was really good at setting up robustness really quickly and getting us all back linking together. I think that was a big thing. As soon as we all started the meetings again and seeing everybody virtually back in pain again, that was nice. I think doing something a bit different as well.
I found that really important because, to suddenly find yourself at home when we're used to being all together, 5-6 days a week, I would have really struggled, I think, if I didn't have those painful 50-minute robustness sessions to turn up to and see other people. And I remember when it was so sunny and we were doing it in the garden, or we were all in lovely vest summery tops doing amazing.
Oh, those were the days.
Wigsy's tan was getting more darker and darker every week. We're like, where's she been?
I made it part of my daily routine, Char. I just thought I'll just read my book in the sunshine.
Absolutely, why not?
And I worked hard on it. It was definitely a performance game.
Sure. You progressed from Dale Winton to full David Dickinson for the September.
I did.
Emma, what about the HIIT sessions and the ergos on a Friday?
Oh my God. I think, but then again, I don't know whether it makes me a bit weird, but I quite like the fact that other people suffer at the same time. So I think
is seeing you'd still doing the ergo in your garden on your own, but the difference of having a screen and seeing 6 other people suffering as well makes it so 100 times better than just even though you're doing it exactly the same. That was the amount of times we all just look at each other and like, okay.
That's something Colin did. He delegated that really well to Hannah.
Sessions.
What about Hope in her cowshed?
Yeah, exactly. So Hope joining, that brightened my week, because I was thinking, she's And then there's this one time where we were doing an ergo session and the midgies are really bad, because you know the midgies are really bad in Scotland. And she was just swearing and like fighting the midgies. So she's trying to paddle the ergo and swat the midgies off while she's got a cat that's in the way and a horse that's coming through the barn. And
those Scottish midgies, eh?
Yeah.
She also had one bit where it was really hot here, and in her background there was snow.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah. But I think those sorts of things are really important for me. I think, you know, I think it was so difficult for all the staff to go from what we're used to what they had to deal with. I think those virtual stuff made a real difference. I think it was and even the stuff that we did to try and keep in contact with each other, I think I'd have struggled without that.
So what about the so during the lockdown, how much do you think then the quizzes, the cooking, the training sessions, how important were they then in keeping us all motivated and sane?
Yeah. Sane, keeping us sane. Sane.
I'm not gonna lie, Stewie, I enjoyed the quizzes, but I didn't enjoy coming near the bottom every single week. Because I genuinely thought I was a bit cleverer than I clearly am.
Well, Emma, should we lead this to the quiz champion? That's pretty
yeah,
much
let's ask Charlotte how the quizzes
Henshaw, who, if she was involved in a quiz, you just had to settle for second place.
Yeah, we were fighting for second every week.
When someone did like maths questions, and no chance, like not a clue. But I think
know bits of everything.
Pardon?
You just know bits of everything.
Well, I'll tell you why. So my friends and I from school, my friends from sixth form, we used to go to the pub quiz on a Tuesday night, like religiously every Tuesday from being about 18. And I think we've won about 3 times in like the 12 years we've been going. But I must have picked up something random from those weeks of being committed to being absolutely spanked at a local pub. So it's helped me in some way, even though we've never won the beer tokens, but you know, whatever.
I thought the Wigsies were going to win all the time.
So did I, Stu. So did I.
You know, your secret weapon was Mama Wigs when Mama Wigs came. Quite before with us all.
I know, but you know what makes it even worse is my family are still insisting on doing this every single week, and we come last in that too. And every week we go, should we leave it a week? No, we'll carry on. So I should be better than I am.
We had a winter break. We had a December break from our family quizzes, but they've been reinstated now.
Yeah. Robin, Ian, how have you found it being at home with the kids? Because obviously, like before this world changed, you were balancing being professional elite athletes and dads. So I wonder how's that been over the last year?
You go first.
Be nice.
Yeah, I actually, the first lockdown one, I actually really enjoyed. Like probably almost once the realization had gone that we're gone for a year, because I was obviously meant to retire this year, so I've extended my sporting career by an extra year. And once I'd soaked that in, I actually really enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed lockdown one. I never spent as much time at home with the family. I think almost, maybe not like everyone, but I trained every day to keep sane. But then also went on like giant walks, and I think we've done these meetings before and I've been cutting off because I'm like hiking up a hill or summit. And it's just like, but I really enjoyed it. Like I've loved it. I've loved being at home. Now that we're training full time again and I'm still at home, it's a little bit different. You can see the bags under my eyes now and the disheveledness of my face. And this meeting's cutting into my little nap time. But other than that, no, I've loved it. I love lockdown 1. Lockdown 2 and 3 I've hated. But lockdown 1 I enjoyed when it was sunny.
Lockdown 1 was my favourite, I think.
Sunshine
all the
lockdowns. You should never try and follow it on. Like Back to the Future 2 and 3. It's like,
yeah, never do a sequel. The sequels are always
never
rubbish.
never as good.
The sequels are never as good.
Did anybody struggle not to overdo it because it was sunny and it was quite good? It was like, when do I stop? I've got every day here just to go mad.
I think the thing I struggled with the most was to get into a routine. So I think because it was so sunny and I wasn't doing anything. I was going to bed late and then I was getting up at a different time. So I'd be like, oh, I'll start my gym in a bit and I'll just do this thing around the house. And then suddenly I was cramming everything into a short space of time. And I was like, oh my God, I've got so much to do today. And I'm kind of out doing ropes and then jumping on the ergo like a crazy person. But I think it took time to get into the routine. I think just like we were so used to what we do at the centre, so that we suddenly left to our own devices, which they should know that they should never do that. It was a bit all over the place, but I did quite enjoy that you could do your session and then literally the kitchen was right there.
Yes,
so
yes.
Like ready to go, 2 minutes and you're in cooking, and that was good. That was
equally like within 5 minutes you're in pajamas, you're showered and in pajamas. Like
I was saying the amount of times when that Friday ergo session, and we'd normally, because it was sunny, like kind of chat for a minute or two at like outside after we'd finished, then we go, oh, I really need to go get some food now. Literally walk in with the laptop to our kitchen. We're like, oh, I'm gonna get some food now, guys, see you soon. And like it's weird to just be able to walk straight into your sofa after a training session.
You can tell the ones that haven't got kids, like Rob's going, no, that's not for me.
How was homeschooling, Ian? You've got kids who are actually at school, so
that
Ian.
Was, I didn't, to be honest, I didn't do a lot with them. We've got an upstairs now as a dorm bungalow, so I can't get up there, so that's not my responsibility. The only issue I had, like with lockdown, it was good at first, like a lot of cycling, like with Josh, out the kids, and Charlie was joining in training. But the hardest thing really was like food, because like I'm so used to doing my own food at dinner time. I get my own stuff, and then everyone's queuing up behind me asking for their dinner.
I do think my food bill's gone up, and there's only 2 of us in my house. I do think the food bill's gone like, because it's basically the most exciting thing every 2 weeks, isn't it? What should we order in the food shop?
Yeah.
Especially when the slots become available. We've done a food shop. Should we have another one in about 3 days' time?
You can.
You get a slot, the celebration. I remember I went into it to do my supermarket shop right at the beginning of lockdown, and I took a few steps in the shop, and there was just it was in it, and I went, I'm not doing this again. And then straight to click and collect from then onwards. It was just people just not adhering to the rules, and it was.
You know what I'm thinking as well, like on that I'm thinking, and this might just be me, I feel like it's going to be really weird when life goes back to normal. Like I can't, because I think we're being really careful, A, as athletes, and B, as good human beings, but I just feel like I don't quite know how it's going to feel when we go back to, okay, so now you can go to the shop or you can go to the pub for lunch, or like, I'm just not quite sure how that's going to feel. And like being back normal at training, being closer than 2 meters but how's that going to feel like when we're close to people without all of this on, and
in the gym without having to spray everything down.
We were talking about this yesterday on the water, because we were big into like breakfast club, weren't we? When we could be near each other and we would go out for brunch, and I'm not going to lie, that was probably my highlights of the week, when we could all go out for a good brunch. And we were just chatting yesterday, but like when we can go out for a team brunch together, I think we should have a challenge if we order everything on the menu.
Yeah.
We're going to see how long we can stay there.
And see how long we stay. We'll do it on a half day. So we train in the morning and we just go, and just order everything.
Yeah.
And see how we get on. Like a man versus food kind of job.
Yeah.
Hey, make sure you count us in on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's in.
Yeah.
I think when that happens, I'll probably be retired. I can't see that much soon. I'm not.
That's fine. You can come back to brunch.
But hang on,
that's the question I was going to ask, Rob. How did you were the one that openly said you were going to retire after Tokyo. How was it for you when it kind of all got shifted a year? Did you have dips and thoughts to come across, or were you always set on I'll just keep going for another year?
When they first said it, I didn't even know I'm my schedule to go back to work, so I was contractually obliged to be back into work in November 2020. So when it first happened, I just thought that was it. It was over for me. Like, I'm missing the games because I'm back at work. That was it. So I had to ask for an extension. Luckily, they agreed to it. So once that was settled, I was pretty much fine. And like, I never really let it dip anyway. I carried on training. I think just to keep my mind off it more than anything else. I just couldn't have to worry about that. Like basically training for 4 years to not do anything, not go to the games. It's a weird one for me because the last games was a 5-year cycle for me because Paracanoe wasn't in London. So I was on the programme in 2011. And then this year I thought was actually, this cycle I thought come around quite quick. And now 5-year cycle.
So when the restrictions were eased a little bit after the first and best lockdown, how did you feel coming back into the centre? Did anyone feel a bit nervous about it? Were you just happy to be kind of leaving the house? Because I know I was getting excited to get in my car. It's a treat, get in my car and sing to the radio. How did everyone feel? Stu?
I was really nervous about coming back. I was frightened of, not frightened, but I was just worried about catching COVID.
Yeah.
Especially as I'd stay not in my home. Obviously, I'd be staying in a room somewhere. So yeah, that was quite hard.
Did you kind of speak to anyone or do anything to try and ease that?
No, I think the more I spoke about it, the worse I got. The more I became more inwards because I was, oh God, I don't want to go to the supermarket. Who do I want to speak to? And you hear people that have caught it, and it just sort of overtakes your train of thought. So
I think it was so much more challenging for you, Stu, because you had to live away. Like so that meant you had to then do food shops, and like that was a lot more challenging. Yeah. So I think you did really well to kind of get up here and do it.
But once I was sort of with you, like, I could see you was all quite chilled, and the coaches were good. It was quite nice. And you don't forget about it, but it was a nice position to be in, that you felt quite safe. I felt really safe. I still do feel really safe when I go there, more so than if I went training back on the river at home.
I think we're so lucky, aren't we? We're so lucky to have had basically a biosecure bubble created.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've been able to move from our homes, which we feel safe in, to here where we feel safe. And yes, it's not the same as it was, but I think the staff have done an incredible job to create a kind of bubble where I think it is safe. So I was really excited about coming back, and until I actually got in my boat, and then I was so horrendously unstable. It was I wish I'd stayed at home on the ergo. So if they could move the Paralympics to ergo paddling, I'd be really happy.
We'd be all right, wouldn't we?
We'd be fine.
It was a weird one, but as you say, it's nice that we as a team like kind of trust each other, that we're doing what we can, like in our group. Like you don't feel, it's the kind of reductions in anxiety is massively helped by knowing that people are doing everything they can.
We're boring anyway, so you don't have to worry that we do everything.
Yeah,
we don't do anything anyway. We just go home and go to training. So we'll
actually, you know what I was thinking, Shar, on that. I was thinking, damn it, like now the rest of the world are going to get all of our games because they're going to be as boring as we are, because no one can do anything.
Do you know what we said was that normally, if you can't do a like kind of social engagement due to training whatever, just because you're knackered, you don't want to say you're knackered, you make up an excuse. You never have to like make an excuse anymore. Sorry, I can't come out. Okay,
something that, we were talking about the different lockdowns, and like this time around, I don't think I really realized until this lockdown how lucky we are to be able to get out every day to see actual human beings face to face, even though it's like 2 meters apart.
Yeah,
like Jem is stuck at home working. She's been working at home since a week before we were all locked down. So I don't think I really appreciated how lucky we are that we've, even though it's just you lot and your ugly mugs, that we get to actually see each other physically face to face within keeping 2 meters, obs. But I think that's just so important.
I think gone in.
I feel like with obviously with the kids, they're not seeing any of their school friends. Coming up nearly a year now. In break time, you go out with your friends, even though you can't, but a bit of fresh air. And that's what you do when you're at school, don't you? You go out and just, do what you do and chat with your mates and back in again. They don't do any of that.
So what did everybody think? First session back? Happy? Sad?
Oh dear, I think.
Yeah.
But maybe longer than that.
Yeah. It was an adaptation at the start to do stuff on the ergo, And some of us that were lucky enough to go on the canals, but even then coming from the canal back onto the water, like at the lake, was different, or from the ergo to the lake. And as you say, Emma, was a bit of checking we could still balance in the boats. And I remember me and Sharp being like, right, let's just try to stay dry today. And it's amazing how quickly it comes back, the muscle memory of the kind of balance side, but just getting the tuning into technique again took a bit of time.
But I think, you know, as a whole, I think our success in 200 days time will be defined on, you know, how well we take what we learned in lockdown and put it back into what we're doing now. And I think there's some really valuable stuff to that. Like, I definitely before this would have been, you know, a real advocate of, like, unless you're here 5-6 days a week, you're not training hard enough type thing. And I think probably what we've learned from lockdown, and I'm the first to hold my hands up and say it, is, I think there's flexibility in that. And I think if you've got a good setup and you've got stuff at home, there is probably massive performance gains from being really clever about where we're training and when we're training, as opposed to thinking, well, here is better. Now, I think actually training centrally is probably our greatest strength over the rest of the world, because no one else does it. But I think we can pick and choose. So, for example, like Rob, I think for you, you know, picking your days at home and picking your days here is probably going to be, you know, so impactful for performance, compared to thinking, you know, compared to that kind of dilemma of I'm torn between home and here, and being a dad and being an athlete. And I think I was really shocked that actually you can work really hard on your own in your garden. It helps if you see other people struggling, but it is doable. And as long as we're getting some water access and always access to the staff, I think we can learn a lot. And I think that's like going to be our secret.
There's elements to the training that are really important to do centrally and all together. And I think all the water work benefits from being together, even as much as that there's rest between sets. And then we can all just have a little chat and things like that, and you can sort of decompress between it. When you're sitting on an ergo or you're on a canal on your own, there's a lot of time to think on your own, and you can overcomplicate it. I think that when we're all together and we can have a light-hearted chat in between it, there's nothing better than all of us, well, if it was sunny, but nothing better than all of us just like chilling, taking the mick, just really having a great time on the water and getting the hard work done together. But then there's other elements where, like for me, for the gym, I prefer doing gym at home on my own. I prefer being here, because in a gym session you can't really chat much anyway. And then at the moment, because of the restrictions and having to wipe down everything, wear a face mask, all the rest of the implications with the gym, I think I'm actually benefiting that I'm lucky enough to have a setup at home to do it. Like, and I never would have done that without the lockdown. And it's so much time saving for me in the car. And also, I mean, technically, I don't know how, but I'm actually stronger. So it's a weird learning that I'm stronger lifting the gym on my own, probably because of the fear of death. But it is.
But I think that's where we need to be clever, because I think there's it's no surprise that we're the world's best para-canoe squad in Great Britain, because we've got a squad of 17 athletes who are funded, who are working hard every single day to push each other to be better. So we need to keep that element, Rob, you're exactly right. We need to keep those funded places so that we can push each other to continue to be the best para-canoe nation in the world. And then, you know, the talent lot will come through with all the learnings that we've got to share. And I think that's why in 200 days we're going to be the best para-canoe nation.
You can sit down, you can just quickly catch up with the coaches. I suppose in this gym you can get hold of Matt and go through your stuff you're doing at home. And if your equipment's different, he would say, try doing this instead of what he's already given you. So
yeah, but I don't want to ask him. I want to just do random things.
I
want to just, if I finish after an hour and I think, I've still got 15 minutes, you might accidentally do more curls.
Always arms.
Just bicep curls. That's all you need in para-canoe, isn't it? Bicep curls.
Occlusion and biceps.
Like, I was in it. Where's in the gym this week? Matt says, "Do you want to do some curls and triceps?" After I'd finished, and it says, "Well, okay." Then it says, "Well, because I know when you get home you're going to do them," which I do. Which I do on a Tuesday evening. I don't know how he knows. On a Tuesday evening, I do an arm.
He knows
because he's seen your guns. That's how he knows. So maybe in 200 days, as long as we've all got massive guns on the start line,
that's all you need.
That's all that matters, isn't it?
basically.
Saying start line, how's everyone feeling about, fingers crossed, getting back to racing this year? It's been a while since we've done it.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
I think for me, like in any sport, like we do the sport because we love it, and especially lockdown showing, like the last time we raced was at the test event that was 18 months ago. Like
The least said
race.
about that, the better.
In Tokyo itself, which we were, gearing up for, and like we do love kind of the training, and we obviously, that's the reason why we're in this strong position now, is that we've gone 18 months of just training, and you have to kind of enjoy it every day to still do that. But I think in sport, definitely for me and others, that is the pinnacle of sport, is competing as well, especially when you're putting all this effort into getting faster and getting better. There is that enjoyment factor, but it is the competing side and being able to go and show people what you're made of. So it would be great to be able to get it's more nerve-wracking because you're kind of not used to it, but I think once we get back into the swing of things, that being on the start line with other people that you don't know, me and Shah was saying the other day, weren't we, about the thrill of, like, doesn't even need to be someone in your category or in your race, but being in a race with, you don't actually know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's exciting. And so the thought of getting back there is, it's a bit nerves, but the good nerves and the kind of ready to go. So hopefully we can get some races in.
I feel like we should, because it's been so long, Shug, like you said, since we've raced, I feel like we should just have a little practice of our race faces, because it is something that we're all very good at. So I feel on the count of 3, we should just practice our race face, maybe.
Can I just ask, is this just before the race or is this during
I think mid-race, because Charlotte's exceptional at them. So I think
last 30 metres.
30 metres. Okay, so on the count of 3, your 30-metre race face. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I feel like now we're ready to race.
We're ready.
100%. 100%.
What about the 150 metres just towards the end?
Oh, that's just
help.
Charlotte, your lip would definitely be up, wouldn't it?
Oh, well, was it scared where you split your lip because your mouth was so
because my mouth was, it was so hot, wasn't it? And your lip was stuck like that, and my lip was split.
Had an interview, and we were like,
because it was so hot and dry.
Was that in second?
And you know what amazes me? Always capture those shots.
They could have given us a bottle of water, couldn't they?
just a little bit. Oh, right. I was just going to do Charlotte's gurning face again, to be honest. Yeah, guys, I think it's time to call it a day, as we've eaten into Rob's precious nap time, and looks like he's given up.
He's asleep. Rob.
Bye.
Rob.